Let's be honest. We all know that Twitch streamers are just absolutely rolling in dough. Though, to be honest, I was a little bit surprised to see who was making the most money from the list, and even more surprised to see the ones that everybody assumed would be making the most money, like Pokimane, were not as high as you would have assumed on the list. What am I talking about? The Twitch leaks, of course. That's right, Twitch was evidently hacked, and the people who did that have released a whole bunch of interesting information about Twitch. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about what the streamers made in the last 2 years, because their earnings were released. But to be honest, I think that that's the least important part of this leak. There's been stuff that was leaked that was so much more dangerous that nobody is talking about anywhere. So let's dive right on into the Twitch leaks and see what I'm talking about. But before we do, remember to decimate that like button. And if you haven't already, destroy the subscribe button. Also, don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. I always try to respond to every single comment, so come on, just go down there. It's pretty easy. Type a couple letters, hit send, bada bing, bada boom, you left a comment. Now, let's get back into the Twitch leaks. So these leaks first appeared on 4chan. That's right, the notorious hacker 4chan has struck again. The leaks themselves contained all sorts of interesting data about Twitch. All of the stuff that Twitch themselves would never willingly release. At first, there were streamers and others who doubted the validity of the data, saying that it was all a hoax, which is not. It would be very hard for them to have faked all of this data. But if you don't believe me, Twitch themselves tweeted out confirming that the leak was legitimate, saying, "We can confirm a breach has taken place. Our teams are working with urgency to understand the extent of this. We will update the community as soon as additional information is available. Thank you for bearing with us." Also, on the Twitch blog, they go into even more detail about what was accessed by hackers and what was not. They said, "Twitch passwords have not been exposed. We are also confident that systems that store Twitch login credentials, which were hashed with bcrypt, have not been accessed, nor were full credit card numbers or ACH bank information. The exposed data primarily contained documents from Twitch's source code repository, as well as a subset of creator payout data. We've undergone a thorough review of the information included in the files exposed and are confident that it only affected a small fraction of users and that the customer impact is minimal. We are contacting those who may have been impacted directly." So we can assume that despite there being a bunch of creators that are still saying that the numbers are wrong for them, these numbers are correct. Twitch themselves said that they were correct, because if they weren't, Twitch wouldn't have admitted that a subset of creator payout data was accessed and leaked. From what I've been reading, the numbers released were for Twitch payouts from 2019 in September to the date of the hack, meaning that it's at approximately 2 years of earnings data for these creators. However, it's also only going to include the information made by subscriptions, possibly bits, maybe ads, since most donations, except for bits, are done outside of Twitch, as are sponsorships and stuff like that. So they wouldn't have data on those kind of things to begin with, and if Twitch didn't have data on it, then it couldn't have been leaked in this hack. So you can assume that if a streamer has an active community that donates a lot of money, or if they frequently have large sponsorship deals, that these numbers that we're seeing in this leak are actually much, much higher for the last 2 years, because they would have made so much money off of donations and sponsorships. It's not even funny. Of course, the fact that this is only showing the Twitch earnings, not donations or sponsorship data, means that none of this should be that surprising to people, as a lot of big streamers do keep their sub counts public, at least roughly, which means that anyone can estimate their monthly income from subscriptions by multiplying the sub count by $2.50. Since that's roughly what streamers get per subscription. You know, Amazon, Twitch, whatever, take $2.50 and they give the creators the other $2.50. I don't know if that's before or after tax because I'm not a Twitch streamer, so. However, there are larger creators that have special deals with Twitch, like a special contract that lets them take a little bit extra money, from what I've heard. I'm not really sure how much extra, so the $2.50 number is an easy way to get an estimate of what a creator earns based on their sub count. Now, let's take a little bit of a look at the numbers and rankings, since that information is now public, and then we can talk about the actual important and really dangerous part of this leak, which nobody is talking about. Now, according to the data, the #1 earner on Twitch is a channel that nobody really expected. I mean, you assume that Pokimane or someone similar would be #1, but in actuality, it's Critical Role, which is apparently a D&D channel, you know, Dungeons and Dragons. I'd never really heard of them before, but they pulled in over $9 million in the last 2 years, according to the leaks. The next 9 in order are, of course, Critical Role being #1, then XQC, then Summit1G, then Tfue, then Nick Merckx, then Ludwig, then Tim the Tatman, then Altor, Oron Play, and Lyric, all of them rounding out the top 10. Each of them making over $2 million in the last 2 years, according to the leak. So yeah, you'd expect most of those names. Those are all big players in Twitch. But honestly, there are a few people on that list that I have never even heard of, like Altor. I don't know who that is. Maybe it's because I don't watch that much of Twitch. I'm not an avid Twitch watcher. I mostly just tune in every once in a while to watch a Sips stream, which, by the way, shout out to Sips, at number 291 on the list, which is kind of crazy to me that some dad playing games in his garage have made it to the top 300 Twitch streamers. That's just just crazy to me, so congrats, Sips. If you're interested in seeing where your favorite streamers fall on the list, there are a number of news articles that you can search up with a little Google foo that will let you know, or just ask in the comments, and I'll see if I can look it up. So yeah, streamers' earnings being leaked isn't exactly great for Twitch. It's kind of embarrassing for the creators, kind of embarrassing for Twitch, and it's even worse for streamers that pretend they're broke, despite being publicly known now as earning tens of thousands of dollars every single month for the last 2 years. A breach of creator data like this would be absolutely terrible for Twitch on a normal day, showing that the security measures are not up to protecting the data of those who make their livelihoods on the site. But in this case, the creator data was the least of Twitch's worries. Why is that? Well, it's because the hackers have apparently released all of the source code for Twitch, which is a huge deal that nobody's talking about. Now, to those of you without a computer science degree, I can understand why this would pale in comparison to finding out your favorite Twitch streamer is really earning millions of dollars. But I can assure you that in the information security world, this is probably one of the biggest risks and biggest of big deals that any company can face. When your product's source code is not accessible, it's much harder for people to find exploits within your code. That would allow them to do something nefarious. But in this case, basically, they've just turned up to the test with nothing but their underwear on, because now any computer criminal can look through the entirety of their source code and find an exploit. This means that I honestly think that we should probably assume that there will be more breaches in Twitch's future, since they've already proved themselves to have lax enough security where this has happened once, and now everything they have is exposed to the world. I can't understate how bad of a situation this puts Twitch in. They're going to have to work around the clock to find and patch all the exploits in their code before any criminals can find them. Like playing whack-a-mole, only if you miss one, a nuclear bomb goes off. Not to mention, from what I've been able to find, they don't reward white hat hackers with money as part of a bug bounty system, which means there's absolutely no incentive for any legitimate and legal security experts to help Twitch out unless Twitch specifically contracts them and pays them. This has done irreparable damage to the Twitch brand. No tech company wants to find themselves in the place that Twitch is in right now. The only really good thing to come out of this is that it looks like no customer banking details or passwords were accessed. Had that happened, Twitch would have been completely screwed. Probably sued into oblivion, or at the very least, they would probably have to spend millions of dollars helping people whose data was exposed to make sure they don't fall victim to any more crimes as part of the leak. So it could have been much, much worse for them had that customer info been released, but luckily it wasn't. It was just the source code, which is also just a massive, massive, massive deal. What concerns me the most, though, is that if we look at the original post from 4chan, this is only labeled as Part 1, which implies that there's more parts coming. But with them already exposing the entire source code for Twitch, I can't imagine what could be in Part 2 if it does exist. This was crazy enough already. This was enough to bring a tech company to their knees. This is enough to bring any company to their knees. This is really bad for Twitch already. So what else do they have? What else are they going to release? What else is going to come out? Who knows? What do you guys think? Do you still trust Twitch to keep your data safe? Will you abstain from using your credit card to purchase things on Twitch for the future? Personally, I'm not going to give any of my data to Twitch until this is behind them for a long time and they publish a third-party security audit showing that they're safe to use. That's just my 2 cents. That's just what I'm thinking. I'd like to hear what you guys think, so put a comment down below. It really helps out the channel, and I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. I know I enjoyed having you here. Remember to smash that like button and destroy the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time. God bless.